Welcome to Minutes by Minute. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Dave Kenny.
And we're here to talk about what the village councils, various legal entities out there that are governing you people out there, making regulations which are affecting you one way or another.
And they not only govern you, these are the people that you elected, or the commissions that they appointed, and the decisions that they make directly affect you, whether you live in Leonard, or Village of Oxford, or Oxford Township, or Addison Township. It all involves you.
Remember, it's all your fault. And also a disclaimer.
You get what you voted for.
We do. A disclaimer we have to make, of course, is that everything that we say on this show
is mostly true.
Mostly true. Yes, that's true. Okay, let's get on with it, shall we?
Okay.
All right, let's talk about the first meeting, Addison Township Fire Board.
Hot subject.
Hot subject. A lot of smoke there.
Oh, is there?
Oh, well, there was, but they kind of calmed it down, Not
What
so
happened?
much. Well, John Beach is the fire chief there.
All right.
Does a great job, too. Keeps a good tab on the finances there, and of course, that was one of the first issues that they hit on. But before he got into the finance end of it, he said, we in May did 45 calls.
Is that high or is that low?
Well, he said that kind of runs, normal, but he
Okay.
said the following month, which is June, ran 69, so you can see it varies, goes up and down
Well,
somewhat.
the types of fires probably change too.
Right. In July, there's 53.
Bush fires in
Right.
hotter season.
Right. So you just never know. But he said that it wasn't, out of the ordinary.
Or Dad got a blast out of the barbecue pit.
Yeah, he could have done that, yeah. Well, it's better, than the toasty fire in the winter,
I know.
Everything goes up in smoke. But anyway, fires are going to continue. That's why we need fire departments and those great guys out there and those girls, too, and women that support the fire department, as workers. Also, we can't forget the EMTs because they do a great job in bringing people back.
So was that, did that 45 include EMT calls?
No. Fire calls.
Just fire?
Well,
all right.
Yeah. Here's where we spread rumors.
Oh, dear God.
Okay. They also have a thing called mutual aid, which is kind of a Band-Aid that they put on other communities. For example, if, let's say Oxford needs help.
Mm-hmm.
We've got firemen out there doing other fires or doing whatever the firemen do, and they need support. Addison actually has provided quite a bit of that support, to Oxford and Romeo and different areas.
Mm-hmm.
Oxford more so. They made a note that in Oxford that has been increasing to some degree. And that could probably relate a little bit back to Chief Schultz, and where he is requesting additional monies to operate because he says that he doesn't have enough people.
Okay.
So that could kind of fall in. I'm not saying it is, but again, rumor.
But that mutual assistance also, if one fire department has a specialized piece of equipment that another fire department needs in a particular instance, it's always available.
Right, and that's always worked that way too. We do that with Lake Orion too, and the other adjacent communities, Leonard and so forth. But yeah, let me see. I need a fire hose. I don't have a fire hose. Do you have one? So that's the way it works. Yeah, we got one over here. As a matter of fact, we got 6 men that'll handle that fire hose. They'll be there in a few minutes with their little hatchets.
Alrighty
That's
then.
the way it works. But they do put out those fires rather quickly.
And people appreciate it.
They do. They have a breakdown on what the cost is per month to operate this thing, but we won't get into that because it's really in detail. And you folks out there can get more information by going out to OCCTV.org and looking at the actual meeting that they had at Addison Township if you want to pick up on the figures. They have tests required, of the hoses, pumps, and so forth, and it's state mandated.
Okay. Do they test them themselves, or does the state have someone that comes through and does that audit?
Right. They have somebody that comes through and they actually perform the test.
I see.
And they have to meet certain criteria. Otherwise, excuse me, your fire truck has no tires, no wheels, no ladders. We think you should fix that.
Perhaps.
That's what they do. All right. So that's where they come in. It is costly to do that, though. I think, I think it's around $5,000 to do that.
That goes to the state?
Every year. It's Anyway, they also talked about the budget for the year, and Chief Beach said, hey, we're balanced. We're not in the hole. We're actually running pretty good here, considering we're.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, considering all the fires and all the people that we've had to train and so forth, and we get into that too.
So he's running a tight ship.
He is running a tight ship, and he always has done that, from my understanding. I don't know the chief myself, but I watched a lot of his meetings from afar. You know how that works, right?
Yeah, afar.
Okay, afar. They have a repair and maintenance allocation requirement, and that's up also. It's increased. They've done a lot of repair. For example, one of their fire stations, the floor was giving way. It was breaking up, so the whole floor had to be replaced, and that was an expensive little endeavor. I think it came to somewhere around $25,000, $20,000 to do that. But you know, when you
Comes
have-
under that budget line. Things wear out.
they do, and the floor would, because you know all the vehicles that run across it, those big heavy fire trucks.
Oh, yeah.
And you can't park the trucks outside, you know, in the wintertime.
Well, no, you
have
want them to
frozen
work.
hoses?
Well, no, you want them to work.
Yeah. Excuse me, I got this hose. It's froze. I can't do anything with it.
So hug it.
Yeah, so, yeah, hug the hose.
No.
Maybe we can start a campaign, hug a hose, for a fireman. I don't think he wants to do that. But they did receive $35,000 in recovery fees, which is reimbursements, you know, for EMT and fire runs that they make, you know, from time to time.
When you say reimbursements, where do they get that from?
Well, let me see. If somebody, well, they get it from the individual that caused the fire a lot of times, or the individual that is been injured, or
Or through
you know,
their
having a heart
their
problem,
or through their
yeah,
insurance.
through their insurance is how they
Right.
achieve it.
Okay.
They don't really take the person, shake them upside down, and say, "Hey, let me see, we got $1.95. Shake them a little more." That's not how it works. No.
When I pay my income tax, it seems that way.
Yeah, that's the way that works, but that's income tax. And that is Brandon, though. We don't do that over here.
I'm sure you do.
They have a guy, no, they have a gentleman named Vinny who will pay you a visit. So, anyway, they're a lot gentler over there in Brandon, I think. Anyway, pay your taxes, very important. Another thing that we want to talk about here is grants. There's a number of grants which this fire chief has been able to come up with, and money's on the side. I'm not saying the guy has a poker game or anything running on the side.
Well,
We could spread that rumor, but
and
that's not the
that's a
case.
talent in and of itself, being able to write grants and actually have them be successful.
Yes, and this guy is successful. I mean, he for years has written grants and gotten money. How he shakes this money out of the state is a kind of a pretty tricky thing, but he's been able to do this. You know what, folks? We'll tell you more about this when we come back right after this.
You're watching OCTV, Oxford Community Television, serving Oxford, Addison Township, and the village of Leonard.
Welcome back to Minutes by Minute. I'm Elgin Neck.
And I'm Dave Kenny.
And we're beating the living daylights out of this fire board in Addison Township and what they do over there. They do a lot.
They do a lot, and they do a good job.
They do.
They got a good guy heading it up.
Yeah, when we left for the break, we were talking about that they have certain monies coming in. And one of those funds is a state grant to the tune of about $30,000.
Oh,
Not chump change, pretty
no.
good. And a company named Precision Pipeline. is
By the
over-
way, usually a grant specifies that money has to be expended
all of it,
only within the concept of the grant itself.
and all of it has to be expensed.
Okay.
Okay, not just part of it. Yeah, let me see. I'm going to put 2,000 into the program. I'm going to take the
Into
rest of the money in my
I
pocket.
heard the my bit.
That is not allowed. So if it's $20,000 and you spend $15,000, you got 5 left over, it has to be used for that project in one way or another.
right.
And they actually did that in one of the projects that they're working on. But Precision Pipeline, which is a company over in their neck of the woods, also donated or gave them $2,500. So that's money they can work with. There's a county grant, which I believe is a multi-county provision that they got $5,000 for.
Precision is the company that's actually installing the pipeline for Enbridge.
Oh, okay. Well, you're back to that one again. I'm on county grants,
Oh,
backsliding.
researching.
Researching, okay. And then there's DTE Energy. You know those guys? Okay, they actually provide $777 for this. So they got some extra cash coming in that they're using for these projects. They had to buy a new hose, though, for one of their trucks, and that was $5,000. Now we're talking about money here. And it's not sprouting water by itself. It has holes in it.
It's not a garden hose variety. It's a
No.
very high-tech
Yeah.
hose.
Now that $5,000 grant was provided, believe this, if you will, by DNR,
DNR.
by the DNR. Yep. So if you're trying to find the DNR, they're over in Addison. So they gave them a grant. That's a good thing.
Wow.
Yep.
That must have something to do with
Yep.
forest fires and stuff like
Yep.
that.
And you folks in Addison want to know too that that water hose is on the truck. It's ready to go.
There.
Right there. Then they want to make sure, the fire chief wanted to make sure that he thanked all of you residents out there that voted, you know, to support the fire department
In the form of a millage.
in the form of a millage. Yeah, he was like this. Yeah, he was very happy, you know, that you guys, you know, you folks out there approved it. They certainly need the money because he said it would shut them down if they didn't have that money. So you don't want to be without a fire department out there in Addison. You got a lot of trees out there. You know?
They run a union shop too, don't they?
They do.
Okay.
But a lot of their people are volunteers too, and I should point that out. They've got some very good volunteers. They just hired 2 new people, you know, for that fire department. So
Full-time or part-time?
I believe it's part-time. Again, rumors. I believe it's part-time jobs for them to start with. A lot of these jobs, you know,
I
can
get my
turn
coin
into
out for the
full-time.
truthometer. It's heads. I guess
Yeah,
it's
right.
true.
Yeah, right. It could be, yes, okay. They also said, by the way, we understand that Oxford Township is dealing with weeds over there.
Oh.
And speaking of weeds, we have a few acres here, about 3 acres roughly, that we have to mow around these firehouses. And our lawnmower is falling apart. We had one of the guys that welded it up because parts were coming off. And so they were able to put it back together, and they said, well, we'll be good now. If winter gets here in a hurry, please come. Then we'll be okay until next year. But we're kind of putting the bug in your ear that, you know, next year we could use a new lawnmower. Nice riding lawnmower, preferably, not a push.
Once again, that things wear out budget line.
Can you imagine 3 acres of land pushing a lawnmower? I guess we used to do that when we were younger.
They don't push a lawnmower, do they?
Some people do. Yeah, but they don't. They have a riding one.
Okay.
That's why they're eager to put effort into it, to put it back together so it'll get going again. So it is working right now for now, but folks over there, keep in mind, put on the list, new lawnmower for fire department next year.
Because they don't want to have noxious weeds.
They don't want to have obnoxious weeds or noxious weeds. Yeah, that's a subject all in itself, and I can tell you what, Oxford Township will tell you everything you need to know about what are those weeds?
Noxious.
Noxious weeds. Obnoxious weeds. Yeah. And anyway, that's a whole different deal. Got it? Let me see. Purchase specifications, they got $15,000 allocated for purchases. Let me see. Oh, they got a new machine.
Machine?
Yeah, a new machine they're going to get, or have right now. They're testing it.
It's a machine?
Yeah, it's a compression unit, CPR compression.
Ah.
Have you seen it?
It's called a thumper.
Oh yeah.
No.
No, it actually fits on your chest. It's adjustable, and it does the pulsations timed to a system that's supposedly perfect to kick you back to health and make you stand up and run.
Well,
So-
in certain emergency conditions, you know, you might take a guy that's been fighting a fire and all of a sudden he's doing compressions and he's pretty tired.
Right.
And having a machine do it allows him to go off and do other valuable things.
Well, if I was laying there and I was trying to, you know, hardly breathing, I'd want that guy to stay there.
Well, sure, but you know what I mean.
Right now, I would consider me as the most important project you have. I mean, you got to run off and do your clerical work. Give me a break. So now they have a machine they plug you into, And
Well, that's pretty good.
Yeah, it's all paid for, you know, through grant money and so forth, and a foundation of $7,500. So it's covered, and it's a pretty nifty unit, and they carry it on their vehicle. And the question was asked, do they have these at the hospital? And the chief says, nope. He said, we're the only ones with one out in the field.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Does
he's
Oxford have
the
one of
first.
those?
Well, they do when they go over there and help them out.
Oh, well, then.
So yes, in a way they do.
Well, now
Well,
they're
you know,
now they're jealous. They'll put a motion in to get one of these things.
You know, you just talked about, you know, if you don't have equipment, you loan it, right? Somebody, well, this is one piece that's going to be gone
So
from time to
now
time.
Oxford has compression envy.
We do, yes. Okay. Also, they need an air compressor. The one they have on the truck is like 15 years old. It's what they use is compressed air for the firemen, so that when they go into a fire, they have these canisters or
The tanks.
containers. Yep. They have fresh air in them instead of smoke. Good idea. So money need to be allocated for that to the tune of $25,755, and obviously it was approved along with the canisters.
And these aren't recurring costs. These are pieces of durable equipment that maybe over a period of 10 years wear out.
Right, exactly. And one other thing, that's a $20,000 grant that was provided, $20,650, and it has to be used, as we pointed out, all of it. So they had money left over, about $5,000, and they purchased additional cylinders for that same project.
Excellent.
So they were able to cover it. You know what? We'll talk about some other things when we come back, right after this. Welcome back to Minutes by Minute. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Dave Kenny.
And we just got through talking about Addison. We're all set with Addison now. I hope you people are happy out in Addison. You kind of know what's going on. You even got the rumor mill going. The next thing we want to talk about, the Oxford Planning, Village Planning Commission, the meeting that they had. They had a quick meeting the other day in which they had to talk about all other things, the East Alley again. This time they went through the architectural plan to change things because a lot of
This is
citizens...
the one by the Lutheran Church?
Yes.
Okay.
A lot of citizens popped into the last meeting for the council and complained that some wanted trees, some didn't want trees, some things were, the road was too close, and there was a lot of complaints. So it was sent back to the Planning Commission. In this particular case, they reviewed everything, and they suggested that the road from M24, which was to be included, is now gone.
The
Not
road
going to
from
be-
M24?
Yeah, onto this alley road.
How does it get to it then?
Well, from the backside. You come the backside of the business and by one of the side roads for access. Or you can go through the businesses because they're going to be connected, you know, the roads.
So originally it was supposed to
entering
go
the
from
business.
24 to Glaspie, right?
No,
No?
to Edison Alley Road or whatever it's going to be called. And there's another thing, it's going to be renamed.
Or it's an industrial drive, actually.
Yeah, right now it's just a path type thing, but
Okay.
it will be paved and so forth.
Got to get a map of that
Yeah,
thing.
right. Well, we have one, but I don't have it here right now. Bike path they were going to have eliminated. 27-foot road for the alley itself was now reduced to 24 feet
Why is that?
because they need to move the line of where the berm is to be installed across the property line a good 14 feet. So in order to do that, the road had to be moved, be made smaller. Answer your question?
These are called tweaks.
These are called tweaks. Yep. And anyway, it's still not finished yet. There was a council meeting last night, and the council agreed to all those suggestions, including a T-turn, or what it looks more like a Y-turn, and where people can turn around at the end, because there's no way to exit this alley area now, being 24, has no end to it. So there's going to be a turnaround of some type at the end. That was all approved. The road was approved. But there's one gentleman that jumped up and he said, hey, wait a minute, I access from the back alley and I need a road through there. You can't put a berm and trees in there, and you know, it went on. And as it turns out, he's non-compliant, you know, and his road is across public property. So those are issues that have to be resolved, but rather than hold up the road project, the council last night agreed to have the road start putting in the road bed.
But contractors have been selected.
Contractors have been selected.
Okay.
And the secondary would be the berm, you know, what kind of foliage is going to be on the side, and the entrance exits, and what the policy is going to be
And
there.
just
There you got it.
to backtrack to the beginning, what is the purpose of this?
To provide access to the businesses from the backside rather than having to access from 24,
Okay.
which is so busy out there, as you know, right? Okay, any questions there?
Nope, go
Okay,
ahead.
well, there will be more about this, I guarantee you. Let's talk about the Oxford Area Cable Communications Commission, which we were all there.
Our parent body.
Yep, and Buck Kreiderman was the chairman. And I say was the chairman because there's some changes made here, right, down the line. First, they covered old business, which is bylaws. Buck is in charge of the bylaws, and no progress was seen there, so it was tabled.
They're walking those, well, no, that's a different thing. Okay, go ahead.
Oh, what do you want to talk about?
No, go ahead.
Okay. Let me see, document retention. Where are the documents going to be? We have documents here that should be under security, that kind of thing.
Right.
And quite a discussion took place there. We won't beat that one to death, but I think
No.
it's going to end up with a security lock of some type with a fire safety potential with
fireproof
you
safe.
with a key. Is that
Right.
the way it's going to
Well,
work?
we have to determine what documents and how
Yep.
many are going to be kept before we can actually spec out what kind of a either fireproof cabinet or safe that we need.
Yep. Well, the other thing too is, you know, how is the security of the computer systems that we have for the data? Is it be copied to a hard disk, and then where is it to be stored? If it's going to be stored here, and if so, what kind of security is going to be provided for that in terms of fire? You know, that kind of.
Put it in a fireproof safe.
That's what you do, and you're going to have the key, I think. So you can't take it home
They're
anymore.
like a missile system. There'll be 2 keys.
Right. Then an employee's handbook, they're working on that too, and Lori Fisher, who's on the board, a representative from Addison Township, she's going to handle that part of it. It's not completed yet, but will be soon, I hope. New business, resignation,
Right.
Bob Kreiderman resigned.
Buck Kreiderman.
Oh, what did I say, Bob?
Yeah.
Oh, we'll change his name to Bob. Not on purpose, no, Buck Kreiderman. Was a chairperson, he resigned, he has some other commitments and so
Which
forth.
is not to say that he's off the board. He's still on the commission, but just not as the chairman anymore.
Just not as a chairman. And elected as a new chairman was,
Ed Hunwick.
yes, and those folks that know Ed out there, he's a very sharp guy. He's willing to look into issues and resolve those issues prudently.
And Ed is also a member of the Township Planning Commission.
He is, and he does a great job there. And again, you can catch those meetings by going to our website, occtv.org.
Click on programs, and everything is in reverse date order.
Yes, and you'll find Ed out there doing a great job.
Great.
Now you'll see Ed doing a fantastic job because he's going to notch up, you know, with the Communications Cable
Absolutely.
Commission. Let me see, proposed one-year equipment plan. Okay, that was presented, and it was actually approved. The one-year plan is to add
You practically
additional-
fainted.
Yeah, we did. But, you know, after a lot of questioning and a lot of prodding and so forth, where a statement was made, don't come back to see us again for more money. Well, here's the thing. The update, we're looking at a switcher unit, which would be used for sports programs for the school and other activities that go on in this area. And it is most up-to-date equipment. It allows the ability to stream the data, you know, directly into our computer here.
Right. And
So,
when that program is finished at a particular site, it's ready to be broadcast.
yes, it is. Now, I want to ask you another question.
What's that?
What's coming up?
What's coming up? Well, we have a lot of meetings. On 9/2, don't go 9/1 because 9/1's Labor Day. On 9/2, the Village of Oxford meets, the Planning Commission meets at 7 o'clock. On 9/3 at 6:30, the Oxford Township Economic Development Subcommittee. Check on that one because sometimes they don't meet. On 9/8, a slew of meetings. 7 o'clock, Oxford Township ZBA. At 7:30, the Addison Township Park Committee. At 7 o'clock, the Village of Oxford ZBA. At 7 o'clock, the Village of Leonard Council. You'll be reporting on that one next week. And on 9/9, at 7 o'clock, the Oxford Township Parks and Rec Committee. And at 7:30, the Addison Township Planning Commission. And at 6:30, Elgin, the Village of Oxford Council.
Oh, Okay.
He's on it.
Yeah, at least for a while, till November anyway. Looks like. And by the way, the next election is coming
Until they
up soon.
drag you kicking and screaming back in again.
Kicking and screaming. I don't know. Yeah, it'll be kicking and screaming. I don't know. Anyway, if you have an interest in your local government, though, if it's a village, contact Joe Young, and he can give you more information. If you're interested in township government, contact Bill Dunn or Jack Curtis or any of those great guys over there, and they can help you out too.
And if you have an issue with one of these committees or councils, don't sit home twiddling your thumbs.
Come to him.
Show up at these meetings and voice your opinion.
I'd rather
They encourage it.
We're going to give out his phone number before we leave today. If you have an issue, call him and he'll take care of it for you.
Sure.
Another rumor. With that being said, I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Dave Kenny.
We'll catch you next time on Minutes by Minute.
See you then.
You're watching OCTV, Oxford Community Television, serving Oxford, Addison Township, and the Village of Leonard.
At Oakland County Parks and Recreation, we value what you value: family relationships, community connections, good health, environmental stewardship, and economic stability. Oakland County residents and businesses have invested in preserving nearly 7,000 acres of parkland. Since 1966, 13 parks and golf courses have been acquired, maintained, and improved. Oakland County parks and facilities are made possible by millage funds supported by Oakland County residents. For a home valued at $200,000, the homeowner pays less than $25 per year to support the Oakland County parks. With every generation, families create lifelong memories at Oakland County's award-winning parks. From exciting summer escapades and stories around the campfire to brisk fall walks on wooded trails and snowy winter outings, the outdoors beckons year-round. It's time to get up, get out, and get going at the Oakland County parks. Active recreation options abound. Cross-country ski or mountain bike on tree-lined trails. Scale the rock climbing wall. Get your kicks with soccer at several sports fields. Row or paddle a boat on 4 picturesque inland lakes. It's an easy journey. Most parks are just a short drive away. A quick tip: all our parks and golf courses end in Oaks. To find your favorite, just go to DestinationOakland.com. Click to pick Oceans of Motion water parks at Red Oaks and Waterford Oaks, the Wint Nature Center at Independence Oaks, Teen Adventures, and even entertainment to go. When outdoor adventures on your list, there's fishing, beaches, boating, playgrounds, and seasonal hunting. The campgrounds at Addison Oaks and Groveland Oaks feel like being up north with plenty of recreation options. Want to get fit? Hit the trails. Oakland County Parks boasts more than 68 miles for strolling, walking, hiking and running, biking, or horseback riding. If the links are your lure, 5 golf courses, including Premier Course Lion Oaks, are conveniently located. Make Glen Oaks or White Lake Oaks your home course. Get an up-north feel at Springfield Oaks, or play a quick 9 at Red Oaks. Our recreation lineup rocks. Learn to swim. Experience an outdoor adventures camp. Take the fast track at BMX, or gain new lifelong skills. Everyone's included. Individuals with disabilities participate in dozens of adaptive opportunities, including a new fully accessible playscape, modified golf carts, and annual events.